Ralph, can you maybe tell us a little bit about the Unity stickers or quality stickers you guys were gonna wear on your helmets, and just how you guys kind of came about that?
Yeah, you know, with all the police brutality and injustices that have been going on in this country for, you know, hundreds of years, we felt like we needed to do something. That started with the Kneel for Nine and the several of the videos we put out. Um, we know it was important to us because of the platform that we hold as Ohio State football players to do something. Um, Specifically, the equality um, phrase, equality for all people, regardless of race, gender, culture, ethnicity, whatever it is. Everyone's equal. Everyone's equal, and we just thought that was the best way to go about it.
Next up, Patrick Murphy from 24/7 Sports with Austin Ward on deck. Patrick?
Tuf, last year you guys had some kind of built-in motivation coming into the season. I know you were disappointed with the way 2018 went. Now you're coming off a year where you were one of the best defenses in the country, got back to the playoff. Where do you find that same motivation to be as good this year?
That motivation comes from, not finishing the job, not finishing the way that we would like to last year. Obviously, it's a new season, new people, but that fire is still there, and we still remember that. That's something we talk about frequently as a team, and it's something we carry with us.
Thank you.
Next up, Austin Ward from Letterman Row with Nathan Baird on deck. Austin?
Tough. I'm sure that you guys are really excited to finally see some new faces to compete against on Saturday. Who is somebody that you're tired of dealing with during these training camp practices? Somebody that you've bumped heads with a lot over the last couple of weeks.
I would say it's the single-handed most person I've bumped heads with is Josh Meyer. Every day in team run, inside drill, whatever it is, we're going at it, we're competing. That whole offensive line has done an unbelievable job. The running backs are, looking great. They're running hard, running downhill with low pads. So, like you said it best. We're ready. I think someone said to me yesterday, we've had about 40 practices under our belt. So it's been a long time coming, and we're really excited and just grateful to have the opportunity to play.
Thanks, Tough.
Next up, Nathan Baird with Cleveland.com and Mark Snyder on deck. Nathan?
Hey, Tough, can you kind of contrast the matchup with Wan'Dale Robinson this year with what you guys were expecting last year? It seems like they've talked about moving him around less, but it sounds like also maybe Coach Madison isn't completely buying that, and you're still preparing to see him in a lot of capacities.
Yeah, with him, he's such a great athlete. Last year we saw him at receiver, we saw him in the backfield some. Without getting into specifics, there's multiple ways he can hurt you. So we got to prepare for it all. That's our job, and that's what we've been doing.
Next up, Mark Snyder from Press Pros with Spencer Holbrook on deck. Mark?
Tough. The one thing that Coach Madison said that you come to the sideline and talk to the coaches like an NFL linebacker. Could you just talk about the confidence and the leadership you're trying to bring? You've been a captain a couple times over, but still, it seems like it's more than just tackling and 3 and outs with you.
Yeah, definitely. I think, one of the big parts of the game is being able to adapt and make adjustments when necessary. Part of the job, you see the play on the field, but how do we make adjustments on the sideline? And I think a big part of that is being able to communicate, what you see things that they're doing, because the coaches a lot of times don't have the best look at what's going on when they're on the field. So I think that's key for all players on the defense to be able to communicate what they're seeing and what they're doing offensively.
When you talk about unfinished business from last year and fire, it almost it's like you're talking legacy. You folks want to leave Ohio State with something and want to be known and to keep up Ohio State the way it's been.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great responsibility with being an Ohio State football player. Long history of much success, and we're just trying to do our part. But we're not really focused on what's to come in the long run. We know we have to take it day by day, practice by practice, game by game. Just being in the present moment, and that's what our preparation has been completely focused on Nebraska. Going 1-0 this week.
Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row with Bill Rabinowitz on deck. Spencer?
It seems like every time we talk to one of these defensive guys or coaches, they bring up Cody and Mitchell as freshmen who have just really stood out. What's been most impressive to you from watching both of those guys come in and start to compete?
Yeah, I mean, both unbelievable players, great athletes, and I think the most impressive part about what they're doing is how fast they've picked up on our defense. A lot of times guys flash as freshmen, unknowingly, right? They make plays, but they don't really see the big picture and really know why they're doing what they're doing. And with Cody and Mitch, they can sit back in the classroom and really answer every question. So that's just a testament to the great job that they're doing.
Next up, Bill Rabinowitz with the Columbus Dispatch and Brendan Gulick on deck. Bill?
Hi, Tuf. Every opener, I'm sure, is a combination of excitement and nerves because it is the opener. How different do you think it'll be this year, given COVID and all you've experienced already just to get to this point? And what do you think the stadium will be like?
Well, we're just grateful to be here in this situation, being able to play, and I think that will carry a lot of weight in motivation to play. Not that we should need any more motivation than to go out and have the opportunity to try and beat a Big Ten opponent. But with that being said, there's no room for error. You don't have a few games to get under your belt before you go out there and Big Ten play. So we know that, we understand that. Our focus is on Nebraska. As far as the stadium, we've been there, we've practiced there. In an empty stadium, I'm sure they're going to try and juice it up however they can. But I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. We shouldn't be focused on the energy levels or the lack thereof. We should just go out and focus on our assignments and what we need to do and execute at a high level.
Thanks, Tuf.
Next up, Brendan Gulick from Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated.
Hey, Tuf. Hey, this can't happen too often. You're going to see an offensive line that has all 5 starters returning from last year. Is there something, as you guys have watched film to get ready for this game, is there something in particular about the way that unit works together that presents a unique challenge to you?
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you have an experienced group, they're going to be able to do some things where you can't do if you're inexperienced. Those guys are big, tough, physical guys, and I think it's one of their strengths of their offenses. And so we just got to go out and try and match them in their physicality and be gap sound and let our technique and preparation take over from there.
And then in terms of preparing for the quarterback spot, obviously Adrian Martinez has played the last couple of years against you, and I know you guys have some film on him. Luke McCaffrey saw very limited time last year, but Scott Frost kind of said, hey, look, we think we've got two guys that are capable of being starting quarterbacks for us. They're going to move forward with Martinez. Is there something that's uniquely challenging about trying to prepare for playing against one quarterback that you know is going to play and maybe a second that has a somewhat similar skill set, but maybe you don't have a lot of tape on him?
Yeah, Martinez has been a great player for him. His skill set, gives anyone challenges. Anytime you have a running quarterback, that can give defenses issues. Now with two of them, I know that there's a similar skill set there, but we'll just see what happens. The flow of the game and who's in at what time. We just got to be ready for both, really, and just fall back on our preparation.
Thanks, man.
All right, we're going to wrap up our tough questions with some questions from Tim May from the Tim May podcast. Tim?
Tuf, thank you very much, Jerry. Tuf, I don't know if you remember this long ago, but do you remember the first time you started a game for Ohio State?
It was 2017, after the Army game. Came back in, split some time with Chris Worley. So yeah, can't really forget it.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. You got a bunch of guys around you Saturday, who are replacing big time players. What do you think's going to be, just kind of draw on what you felt that day, and what's going to be going through their mind, do you think, possibly starting for the first time for Ohio State? And how do you deal with it as a player?
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I was nervous. I was anxious. It's something you've obviously never experienced before, and it's something completely new to those players. But you can always fall back on the work you've put in the preparation. I feel like I've said that a lot, but when you're completely honed in on the details and what you're doing, and your opponent, you should have the utmost confidence in what you're doing, because that's really what takes you home when things look a little different than what you've seen on film, or you just focus on visual keys and play from there.
Is that what you'll tell them at the third?
But those guys have done a great job, and I have so much confidence in them.
Thanks, man.
All right, Tuf, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Have a great practice today, and we will bring in Marcus Williamson here shortly.